You found it in the breath of the universe, the lost art that awakens the power within. These ancient stories reveal how every breath can unlock hidden strength, clarity, and transformation. Listen closely. Your shallow breath has kept your spirit caged, but now the deep breath shall set you free. The Kundalini Awakening. Introduction. Hearken, dear listener, as though summoned by a whisper from forgotten temples and sacred mountaintops, where the wind still carries the chants of those who came before. What you now hear is not merely a book, but a living scroll, a codex of fire and spirit hidden beneath centuries of dust and silence. Within these words coils a secret force, ancient and divine, the Kundalini, the breath-born serpent of awakening that sleeps at the base of your spine, awaiting your remembrance. In these parables you shall wander through mystic jungles and candlelit sanctuaries, stand beside river priests and mountain sages, and witness the moment when ordinary souls are touched by the fire of their true being. One by one, seekers are led to the threshold and invited not to strive, but to remember that they are not simply flesh and thought, but vessels of ascending light. Let the teachings of these hidden masters move through you like sacred wind, each tale a sacred spark, each breath a gentle bellows, fanning the flames of your inner temple. For this is not the study of breath alone, but the ignition of divine energy, the rise of the sacred serpent, the awakening of the cosmos within your spine. As the final voice will tell you, you are not here to awaken the Kundalini. You are the Kundalini, dreaming in flesh, rising now from sleep. So come close, seeker of silence and flame. Let this audiobook be the ancient bell that calls you inward, where every syllable is a spark, and every breath the stirrings of your holy ascent. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1, The Breath Begins. Chapter 1, The Spice Trader's Secret. In the bustling markets of ancient Samarkand, where the air hung heavy with the perfume of 1,000 exotic spices, there lived a merchant named Jessica Martinez. Her caravans stretched across the Silk Road like strings of pearls, bearing the most precious aromatics from distant lands. Yet despite her wealth and success, a peculiar emptiness gnawed at her spirit. One sweltering afternoon, as she counted her daily profits, a commotion arose outside her storehouse. An ancient hermit had collapsed in the street, his withered frame barely casting a shadow. While others hurried past, Jessica felt drawn to kneel beside him, offering her water skin. The hermit's eyes flickered open, revealing irises of molten amber. "Ah," he wheezed, "another shallow breather." His bony finger pointed to her chest. "You breathe like a sparrow pecking crumbs, when you should breathe like a dragon devouring flames." Jessica frowned. "I have more spices than anyone in 7 kingdoms. What could breathing have to do with—" "Watch," the hermit interrupted. He drew a long, deep breath that seemed to pull the very essence from the spices surrounding them. The air shimmered as he exhaled, and suddenly the scent of cinnamon burned brighter than fire. Cardamom danced like starlight, and saffron sang like sunset. "Your wealth is nothing but shells on sand," he whispered. "The true treasure lies in the breath of life itself. Your shallow breathing has been slowly killing your dreams, keeping your spirit trapped in a cage of gold." With trembling hands, he taught her an ancient breathing pattern that made her chest glow with inner warmth. "Breathe thus," he instructed, "and awaken the sleeping fire within." The hermit passed from this world that evening, but his teaching transformed Jessica's life. She discovered that proper breathing could ignite not just the senses, but the very essence of being. Her spice trade flourished not through clever bargaining, but through her newfound ability to discern the sacred qualities of each herb and powder. Remember this wisdom, seeker of truth. Your breath is the bridge between the visible and invisible worlds. Each inhalation can either remain shallow like a puddle or deep like an ocean of possibility. Practice the flame of awakening. Sit in stillness and imagine a sacred flame burning at the base of your spine. As you inhale, draw the warmth of this flame up through your body. As you exhale, let it spread through your being like molten gold. Begin with 7 breaths, gradually increasing to 49. Feel the fire of transformation awakening within, just as it did for Jessica in the spice markets of old. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an opportunity to ignite the sleeping powers of the soul. The shallow breather remains forever a merchant of shells, while the deep breather becomes a trader in the currency of infinite potential. Chapter 2, Bellows of the Soul. In the mountain village of ancient Anatolia, where glowing forges lit the night like earthbound stars, there worked a master blacksmith named Christopher Anderson. His mighty arms could bend iron like river reeds, yet for all his strength his finest works remained lifeless, technically perfect, but lacking the sacred spark that transformed metal into magic. One storm-swept evening, as lightning danced across the peaks, an elderly wanderer sought shelter in his forge. The stranger's ragged cloak concealed eyes that flickered like heated steel, and in his gnarled hands he carried a blade that seemed to pulse with inner light. "Your arms are strong," the wanderer observed, "but your breath is weak as winter smoke." He placed his remarkable sword on Christopher's workbench. The greatest smiths of old knew that the bellows of the forge mirror the bellows of the soul. Christopher scoffed. "I've hammered more swords than any smith in 3 provinces. "Silence," the wanderer commanded. "Watch the breath of your forge." He gestured to the bellows, their steady rhythm pushing air through the flames. "Your own breath must move like this, deep, powerful, transformative." The ancients knew that metal and spirit are forged by the same sacred winds. The wanderer demonstrated a breathing technique that matched the rhythm of the bellows. As he inhaled, the forge flames danced higher. As he exhaled, they sang with strange harmonies. Breath is the bridge between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Your hammer arm is strong, but without the breath of transformation, you merely shape metal rather than awakening its spirit. Through the long night, as thunder shook the mountains, the wanderer taught Christopher to synchronize his breathing with each strike of the hammer. By dawn, the smith had created a blade that hummed with inner power, its surface rippling like water under moonlight. "Remember," the wanderer said, as he departed into the morning mist, "the forge's breath and your own are one. In this unity lies the secret of transforming not just metal, but the very essence of being." From that day forward, Christopher's works became legendary, not for their strength alone, but for the living energy that seemed to flow through each creation. Practice the bellows breath. Sit with your spine straight as an anvil. Inhale deeply through your nose, feeling your chest expand like forge bellows. Hold briefly at the peak. Release slowly through slightly parted lips, as if cooling heated metal. Begin with 7 cycles, gradually increasing to 49. With each breath, imagine sacred fire flowing through your being, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes a transformative force, awakening the sleeping power that lies within all things. The shallow breather remains forever a shaper of surfaces, while the deep breather becomes a forger of miracles. Chapter 3: The Mirage Breather. In the endless dunes of the ancient Rub al-Khali, where reality shimmered like a veil between worlds, wandered a nomad named Amanda Rodriguez. Though she knew the desert's ways better than most, she had lost her way in a sandstorm that erased all horizons. For 3 days she walked, her water skin growing lighter with each step. On the 4th day, when hope had nearly abandoned her, Amanda stumbled upon an impossible sight. An oasis that seemed to float above the sand like a jewel suspended in light. At its heart sat an ageless woman tending to a pool of water so still it mirrored the stars even in daylight. "Another who breathes like a dying moth," the keeper remarked without looking up. "No wonder you chase mirages across the sands." Amanda collapsed beside the pool. "I know how to breathe," she gasped. "I've survived sandstorms that would—" "Silence," the keeper commanded. "Watch the desert itself breathe." She gestured to the dunes, which seemed to rise and fall in 3 distinct rhythms. The surface inhales the sun, the depths hold the ancient waters, and the spirit exhales wisdom. This is the 3-chambered breath that reveals true paths through any wilderness. The keeper demonstrated a breathing technique that made the air ripple like heat waves. First chamber, draw breath deep into your belly, where life begins. Second chamber, fill your heart, where courage dwells. Third chamber, let it rise to your crown, where vision awakens. As Amanda practiced this pattern, the distinction between mirage and reality began to dissolve. She could suddenly sense water beneath the dunes, feel the subtle currents of wind that spoke of distant oases, and know with certainty which horizon held her salvation. "The desert appears empty to those who breathe emptily," the keeper said. "But those who master the 3 chambers discover that every grain of sand contains an ocean of possibility." When Amanda departed the next morning, she had learned that survival depended not on water alone, but on the breath that connects all life in the hidden spaces between moments. Practice the 3 chambers of vision. Sit in perfect stillness like a dune at dawn. Inhale deeply, filling first your belly, counting 4, then your heart, counting 4, then the crown of your head, counting 4. Hold this complete breath as steadily as an oasis holds water, counting 4. Release slowly through slightly parted lips, like a desert wind finding its path, counting 8. Begin with 7 cycles, gradually increasing to 21. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes a map through life's uncertainties. The shallow breather remains forever lost among mirages, while the deep breather discovers true paths in even the most barren landscapes of existence. Chapter 4: The Rhythm of Awakening. In the sacred temple of Khajuraho, where stone dancers froze eternally in divine poses, there lived a temple dancer named Michelle Thompson. Though her performances drew pilgrims from distant lands, she felt like a statue herself, technically perfect but lacking the sacred fire that turned movement into magic. During the Festival of 1,000 Lamps, as Michelle practiced her steps in the temple's inner sanctum, an ancient yogini appeared from the shadows, like smoke taking human form. The crone's movements, though subtle, seemed to ripple with hidden power that made the air itself dance. "Your limbs flow like silk," the yogini observed, "but your breath stutters like a broken drum." She circled Michelle with eyes that sparkled like oil lamps. The great dancers of old knew that true movement begins not in the body, but in the coiled serpent sleeping at the base of the spine. Michelle lowered her gaze. "I've mastered every mudra in the sacred texts." "Dance is not in the hands," the yogini interrupted, demonstrating a subtle swaying motion. "Watch how the cobra moves before it strikes. It breathes first, gathering power from earth to sky. Only then does it unleash its dance." Through the night, as temple bells marked the hours, the yogini taught Michelle to synchronize her breath with the primordial rhythm of existence. "Inhale as if drawing nectar from the earth through your feet," she instructed. "Let it spiral up your spine like a serpent ascending a sacred tree. Exhale and let your movement become the breath made visible." As Michelle practiced, something extraordinary happened. Her dance ceased being a sequence of steps and transformed into a flowing river of energy. The stone dancers on the temple walls seemed to pulse with renewed life, as if remembering their own awakening. "The serpent power sleeps in everyone," the yogini said as dawn approached, waiting to be awakened by the breath of divine movement. Dance is merely the outer expression of this inner awakening. Practice the serpent's dance. Stand with feet rooted like temple pillars. Begin a gentle swaying motion while inhaling deeply through your nose, imagining energy spiraling up from the earth through your spine. Hold briefly at the peak, feeling the gathered power. Exhale slowly through parted lips, letting your body move like wind-blown silk. Start with 7 cycles, gradually increasing to 28. Let each breath awaken the sleeping serpent of transformation within. For those who master this practice, every movement becomes a dance of awakening, every breath a key unlocking the body's sleeping powers. The shallow breather remains forever a performer of steps, while the deep breather becomes a channel for the eternal dance of creation itself. Chapter 5, The Undefeated's Defeat. In the mist-shrouded valleys of ancient Wu-Tang, where warriors trained among whispering bamboo, there lived an undefeated fighter named Matthew Garcia. His strikes could shatter stone, his reflexes outpaced striking snakes, yet pride had made his spirit as brittle as autumn frost. One dawn, as Matthew practiced his forms beside a mountain stream, he encountered an elderly woman gathering herbs. She moved with such deliberate grace that the morning dew remained undisturbed on the leaves beneath her feet. "Another warrior who mistakes thunder for power," she mused, straightening her simple gray robes. "Your techniques are impressive, but your breath betrays you like a temple bell in an ambush." Matthew's pride flared. "I've defeated every challenger in 3 provinces." "Then defeat me," she said, simply, assuming no stance at all. "Strike however you wish." Matthew attacked with his famous lightning palm strike, only to find himself sprawled in the stream, unsure how he'd gotten there. Again and again he attacked, each time being redirected by movements so subtle they seem like imagination. "You fight like a leaf fighting the wind," she said, helping him up. "All flutter and no root. Watch how the bamboo breathes." She directed his attention to the swaying stalks. "Though storms may rage, their breath remains unbroken. They bend but never break because they understand true power flows from within." Through the day, she taught Matthew to breathe like bamboo, deeply rooted, yet infinitely flexible. "Power is not in muscle or bone," she explained, "but in the space between breaths where all possibilities dwell. A warrior who masters this becomes like the air itself, non-strikable, unrestrainable, eternal." As sunset painted the valley gold, Matthew discovered that his techniques, infused with this new breathing, had transformed from mere attacks into expressions of flowing force. He had become less, yet somehow infinitely more. "Remember," the woman said as she gathered her herbs to leave, "the greatest victory is not defeating others, but transcending the need to prove yourself at all." Practice the bamboo warrior's breath and stand with feet shoulder-width apart, knees slightly bent. Inhale deeply through your nose while imagining roots growing from your feet into the earth. Hold this rootedness as you sway gently like bamboo in the wind. Exhale slowly, through parted lips, letting tension dissolve. Begin with 9 cycles, gradually increasing to 81. With each breath, allow your inner warrior to become more like the air, formless, yet all-pervasive. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an expression of unstoppable power, not through force, but through perfect harmony with the flow of existence. The shallow breather remains forever, a fighter of shadows, while the deep breather becomes one with the eternal dance of creation itself. Chapter 6: The Library of Lungs. In the hidden monastery of Nalanda, where ancient scrolls held the wisdom of 1,000 sages, there dwelled a brilliant scholar named Sarah Phillips. Though her mind could untangle the most cryptic texts, a persistent emptiness haunted her vast knowledge, as if understanding stopped at the surface of things. One night, while studying by lamplight in the forbidden section of the library, Sarah discovered an unusual scroll that seemed to breathe of its own accord. As she unrolled it, the characters danced like smoke, and from between the shelves emerged a luminous figure, the legendary keeper of hidden knowledge. "Ah, another who reads with the eyes but not the breath," the keeper observed, touching a nearby scroll that began to glow. "Knowledge without breath is like trying to fill a flowing river with a sieve." Sarah gestured to her countless translations. "But I've mastered 7 ancient languages." "Yet you haven't learned the one language that matters," the keeper interrupted, drawing a pattern in the air that shimmered like starlight. "Watch how the sacred texts breathe." In the silence, Sarah noticed for the first time how the scrolls seemed to pulse with a subtle rhythm, like sleeping creatures. "True wisdom," the keeper explained, "enters not through the mind, but through the breath that connects all understanding." The ancients didn't just write these texts. They breathed them into being. The keeper taught Sarah a forgotten breathing technique that transformed reading from a mental exercise into a full-body experience. "Inhale as if drinking wisdom through your crown," she instructed. "Let it spiral through your being like ink through water. Exhale and become one with the knowledge itself." As Sarah practiced, the text began revealing layers of meaning that no translation could capture. Words became doorways, sentences transformed into living energy, and every breath drew her deeper, into the heart of understanding. The third eye opens not through study, the keeper said as dawn approached, but through the breath that dissolves the barrier between knower and known. Practice the scholar's breathing. Sit in contemplative stillness, back straight like a temple pillar. Place a text before you. Inhale deeply through your nose while visualizing wisdom entering through your crown chakra, counting 7. Hold this energy in your heart, counting 4. Exhale slowly through slightly parted lips, imagining understanding spreading through your entire being, counting 8. Begin with 12 cycles, gradually increasing to 49. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes a key unlocking deeper dimensions of wisdom. The shallow breather forever skims the surface of knowledge, while the deep breather dissolves into the ocean of understanding itself, becoming one with the eternal dance of wisdom. Chapter 7, Seeds of Breath. In the fertile valleys of ancient Indus, where the earth whispered secrets to those who knew how to listen, there lived a humble farmer named David Lewis. Though his fields yielded abundant crops, he sensed a deeper wisdom hiding beneath the soil, mysteries that plants understood but humans had forgotten. One drought season, while digging a new well, David uncovered a peculiar earthen vessel decorated with spiraling patterns. As he brushed away the centuries of soil, an ethereal figure emerged from the ground like a sprouting seedling, the legendary Earth Whisperer, known to appear only to those ready to learn the sacred agriculture. "You tend the outer fields well," the Earth Whisperer observed, running translucent fingers through the soil. "But your inner fields lie fallow, yearning for the same care you give your crops." David gestured to his flourishing gardens. "But my harvests feed hundreds, yet your own hunger remains," the figure interrupted, picking up a handful of soil that transformed into golden light. "Watch how a seed breathes before it grows." Through the day, as the sun traced its arc across the sky, the Earth Whisperer revealed how every seed begins its journey with a sacred inhale, drawing in both physical air and vital force. "Your body contains 10,000 dormant seeds of power," they explained, each waiting for the right breath to spark its awakening. The mysterious teacher showed David how to breathe in harmony with the earth's rhythms. "Inhale as if drawing up the soil's essence through your feet," they instructed. "Let it nourish your inner fields like spring rain. Exhale and scatter the seeds of transformation through your being." As David practiced, he felt something extraordinary stirring within, as if 10,000 tiny suns were beginning to sprout through his consciousness. The very air around him seemed to grow thick with potential. "Remember," the Earth Whisperer said as they began sinking back into the soil, "the greatest harvest comes not from the fields you plow, but from the inner gardens you tenderly breathe into bloom." Practice the farmer's cultivation. Stand barefoot on bare earth. Inhale deeply through your nose while imagining drawing up the earth's nurturing essence through your feet, counting 5. Hold this energy in your belly, feeling it swirl like fertile soil, counting 3. Exhale slowly through your mouth, imagining this force spreading through your being like branches reaching for light, counting 7. Begin with 10 cycles at dawn or dusk, gradually increasing to 28. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes a season of inner growth, every moment a chance for new awakening. The shallow breather forever tends only outer fields, while the deep breather cultivates infinite harvests of power within, becoming one with the eternal cycle of transformation. Chapter 8, The Breath Diamond. In the hidden valley of Ratnapura, where gems whispered their secrets to those pure of heart, there lived a master jeweler named Nicole Campbell. Though her hands could coax beauty from the roughest stones, she sensed a deeper radiance, remained locked within both gems and herself. One moonless night, while studying an unusual diamond that seemed to pulse with inner light, Nicole noticed a crystalline figure emerging from its facets. The legendary Diamond Keeper, said to appear only to those ready to learn the sacred art of inner cutting. "Your outer cuts are precise," the Diamond Keeper observed, voice chiming like crystal, "but your inner facets remain rough, clouded by illusion." Nicole held up her finest work. "But I've perfected the 33 sacred angles." "Yet you've missed the most important cut of all," the figure interrupted, touching the diamond, which burst into prismatic light. "Watch how a perfect gem breathes." Through the night, as stars wheeled overhead, the Diamond Keeper revealed how every precious stone maintains its structure through an exquisite balance of pressure and space. "Your being contains an infinite diamond," they explained, waiting to be revealed through the precise breath that cuts away all that isn't true. The crystalline teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that matched the geometric perfection of a master-cut gem. "Inhale with the precision of creating a facet," they instructed. "Let each breath cut away another layer of illusion. Exhale and feel your true nature begin to shine." As Nicole practiced, she felt her consciousness becoming clearer, more brilliant, as if each breath was polishing away internal flaws she hadn't known existed. The very air around her seemed to crystallize into pure potential. "Remember," the Diamond Keeper said as they began dissolving into rainbow light, "the greatest masterpiece lies not in the stones you shape, but in the radiant being you reveal through perfect breath." Practice the jeweler's precision breath. Sit in perfect stillness, spine aligned like a crystal axis. Inhale through your nose with geometric precision while imagining each breath cutting away illusion, counting 4. Hold this clarity at your center point, counting 3. Exhale through slightly parted lips, feeling your true nature shine forth, counting 4. Begin with 16 cycles, gradually increasing to 64. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes a perfect cut, revealing inner radiance. The shallow breather remains forever rough, while the deep breather transforms into a living diamond of consciousness, becoming one with the eternal light of pure being. Chapter 9, Catching the Wind. Along the misty shores of ancient Lanka, where the sea held secrets older than time itself, there lived a patient fisherman named Joshua Martinez. Though his nets brought abundant catches, he sensed something greater swimming just beyond his reach, an invisible force that danced between wind and wave. One fog-veiled dawn, while mending his nets by lantern light, Joshua noticed unusual patterns forming in the mist, ripples that moved against the wind. From these spiraling vapors emerged a luminous figure, the legendary net weaver, known to appear only to those ready to learn the art of catching the uncatchable. "Your nets snare only what eyes can see," the net weaver observed, fingers trailing through air that suddenly sparkled like schools of silver fish. "But the greatest catch swims in the ocean of breath itself." Joshua gestured to his boats laden with fish. "But my nets never return empty." "Yet your being remains unfilled," the figure interrupted, weaving patterns in the air that pulsed with living light. "Watch how the master fisherman breathes." Through the morning tide, as fog transformed to golden mist, the net weaver revealed how every breath is a net cast into the infinite. The same patience that catches fish, they explained, can capture the invisible force that makes all life unstoppable. The mysterious teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that moved like waves upon the shore. Inhale as if drawing in the ocean's power, they instructed. Let it swirl in your depths like a living current. Exhale and feel yourself become one with the eternal tide. As Joshua practiced, he felt something extraordinary stirring within, as if each breath was catching and containing pure potential itself. The very air around him seemed to thicken with possibility. Remember, the net weaver said as they began dissolving into the morning mist, the greatest catch comes not from the nets you cast, but from the breath that captures the very essence of life itself. Practice the fisherman's net. Sit facing moving water or imagine ocean waves. Inhale slowly through your nose while visualizing drawing in pure life force like casting a net, counting 6. Hold this energy in your belly, feeling it swirl like a whirlpool, counting 4. Exhale gradually through parted lips, imagining this power spreading through your being like waves upon a shore, counting 8. Begin with 9 cycles at dawn or dusk, gradually increasing to 36. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes a net-catching infinite power. The shallow breather forever catches only physical fish, while the deep breather captures the very essence of life itself, becoming one with the eternal ocean of unstoppable force. Chapter 10. The Physician's Medicine. In the hidden valleys of ancient Tibet, where healing herbs whispered their secrets to those with pure hearts, there lived a gifted physician named Stephanie Allen. Though her hands brought relief to many, she sensed a deeper healing force that remained just beyond her grasp, a power that flowed through all living things. One winter solstice, while gathering rare snow lotus flowers, she discovered an unusual crystal cave glowing with soft blue light. From its depths emerged a radiant figure, the legendary medicine Buddha, known to appear only to healers ready to learn the ultimate art of restoration. Your remedies ease the body, the medicine Buddha observed, touching a flower that instantly bloomed with unprecedented vitality. But true healing flows through the breath itself. Stephanie held up her prized medicine bag. But my herbs cure even the most difficult. Yet they cannot reach the source of all ailments, the figure interrupted, creating swirling patterns of healing light. Watch how the universe itself breathes to heal. Through the long night, as healing energies danced like aurora borealis around them, the medicine Buddha revealed how every breath contains the power to restore perfect harmony. Your body is a vessel for universal healing force, they explained, waiting to be awakened through the breath that bridges worlds. The luminous teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that pulsed with pure restoration. Inhale as if drawing in celestial healing light, they instructed. Let it amplify your natural healing gifts. Exhale and become a channel for universal wholeness. As Stephanie practiced, she felt her healing abilities expanding exponentially, as if each breath connected her to an infinite source of regenerative power. The very air around her seemed to vibrate with curative force. Remember, the medicine Buddha said as they began merging with the crystal light, the greatest medicine flows not from the herbs you gather, but from the breath that channels ultimate healing through your being. Practice the healer's channel. Sit in a healing meditation pose. Inhale through your nose while visualizing drawing in pure healing light from above, counting 7. Hold this curative energy in your heart center, feeling it amplify your healing gifts, counting 4. Exhale through your palms, imagining this force flowing out as universal restoration, counting 8. Begin with 7 cycles at dawn or dusk, gradually increasing to 49. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes a healing force. The shallow breather forever treats only symptoms, while the deep breather channels the very essence of restoration itself, becoming one with the eternal power of perfect wholeness. Part 2, The Rise of the Serpent. Chapter 11, Breathing at the Summit. In the towering peaks of ancient Himavat, where mountains pierce the veil between earth and heaven, there lived a determined climber named Ryan Walker. Though his feet had conquered the highest peaks, he sensed a deeper summit remained beyond reach, an invisible height that called to his soul. One windswept dawn, while ascending an uncharted spire, Ryan encountered a peculiar sight, a cave mouth breathing clouds of rainbow mist. Within sat the legendary Skywalker, said to appear only to those ready to learn the sacred art of inner ascension. "You climb only the outer mountain," the Skywalker observed, suspended in lotus pose above the ground, "while the highest peak lies within your own breath." Ryan gestured to his climbing ropes. "But I've mastered every technique." "Yet you remain in the valley of consciousness," the figure interrupted, drawing sacred geometries in the air with trailing mist. "Watch how a master climbs the invisible mountain." Through the day, as clouds swirled below them like a celestial ocean, the Skywalker revealed how every breath is a step up the infinite mountain of awakening. "Your body knows how to adapt to thin air," they explained, "but your spirit must learn to breathe the rarefied atmosphere of higher consciousness." The mysterious teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that spiraled like mountain winds. "Inhale, as if drawing strength from the earth's core," they instructed. "Let it rise through your being like morning sun climbing peaks. Exhale and feel yourself ascend beyond all limitations." As Ryan practiced, he felt his awareness expanding with each breath, as if every inhalation lifted him to a new level of perception. The very air around him seemed charged with transformative power. "Remember," the Skywalkers said as they began dissolving into mountain mist, "the greatest summit lies not in the peaks you climb, but in the heights your consciousness reaches through perfect breath." Practice the mountain climber's ascension. Sit in a mountain pose, spine straight as a summit spire. Inhale deeply through your nose, while visualizing drawing up earth energy from below, counting 5. Hold this power at your crown center, feeling it illuminate your consciousness, counting 3. Exhale slowly through parted lips, imagining yourself rising to new heights of awareness, counting 7. Begin with 12 cycles at sunrise or sunset, gradually increasing to 48. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes a step toward enlightenment. The shallow breather forever climbs only physical peaks, while the deep breather scales the infinite mountains of consciousness itself, becoming one with the eternal heights of boundless being. Chapter 12, The Painter's Breath. In the misty valleys of ancient Chang'an, where colors seemed to dance between heaven and earth, there lived a struggling artist named Melissa Turner. Though her brushwork was skilled, she sensed a deeper artistry remained beyond her reach, a divine creative force that painted reality itself. One autumn evening, as crimson maple leaves spiraled through twilight air, Melissa discovered an abandoned temple whose fading murals seemed to shift and breathe with living light. From within emerged a radiant figure, the legendary brushmaster, known to appear only to artists ready to learn the sacred art of painting with pure consciousness. "Your pigments capture only surfaces," the brushmaster observed, touching a wall where colors began to pulse with inner life. "But true art flows through the breath that paints existence into being." Melissa held up her prize brushes. "But I've studied every technique." "Yet you paint only shadows of reality," the figure interrupted, drawing patterns in the air that left trails of living light. "Watch how the universe itself breathes art into form." Through the night, as temple walls shimmered with impossible colors, the brushmaster revealed how every breath contains the power to manifest pure creation. "Your body is a brush dipped in infinite possibility," they explained, waiting to be guided by the breath that bridges worlds. The luminous teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that moved like brush strokes through space. "Inhale as if drawing in pure creative force," they instructed. "Let it pool in your heart like liquid light. Exhale and feel yourself become the brush that paints reality." As Melissa practiced, she felt her artistic perception transforming, as if each breath connected her to the source of all creation. The very air around her seemed to thicken with creative potential. "Remember," the brushmaster said as they began merging with the living murals, "the greatest masterpiece flows not from the pigments you mix, but from the breath that channels divine creativity through your being." Practice the artist's flow. Sit before your creative space, inhale through your nose while visualizing drawing in pure creative essence, counting 8. Hold this creative force in your heart center, feeling it transform into living color, counting 4. Exhale through your hands, imagining this power flowing out as pure artistic expression, counting 6. Begin with 10 cycles at dawn or dusk, gradually increasing to 40. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of creation. The shallow breather forever paints only appearances, while the deep breather channels the very essence of creativity itself, becoming one with the eternal dance of divine manifestation. Chapter 13. The Flute of Life. In the sacred bamboo groves of ancient Wu, where wind whispered melodies older than time, there lived a talented musician named Kevin Scott. Though his flute playing moved many to tears, he sensed a deeper harmony that remained beyond his reach, a cosmic symphony that sang the universe into being. One moonlit night, while practicing beside a mountain stream, Kevin heard an otherworldly melody weaving through the rustling leaves. Following the sound, he discovered a hidden waterfall where sat the legendary sound sage, known to appear only to musicians ready to learn the sacred art of breathing pure music. "Your notes dance only on the surface of air," the sound sage observed, drawing forth sounds that made reality itself vibrate in harmony. "But true music flows through the breath that sings existence into form." Kevin raised his prized jade flute. "But I've mastered every musical." "Yet you play only echoes of the cosmic song," the figure interrupted, creating swirling patterns of visible sound waves. "Watch how the universe itself breathes music into being." Through the night, as ethereal harmonies rippled through the grove, the sound sage revealed how every breath contains the power to resonate with universal consciousness. "Your body is an instrument tuned to infinite octaves," they explained. waiting to be played by the breath that bridges dimensions. The luminous teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that spiraled like musical scales through space. Inhale as if drawing in pure harmonic force, they instructed. Let it resonate through your energy centers like 7 sacred notes. Exhale and become one with the eternal song. As Kevin practiced, he felt his musical awareness expanding exponentially, as if each breath connected him to an infinite orchestra of creation. The very air around him seemed to pulse with melodic potential. "Remember," the sound sage said as they began dissolving into waves of pure sound, "the greatest music flows not from the instrument you play, but from the breath that channels cosmic harmony through your being." Practice. The musician's resonance. Sit in a sound meditation pose. Inhale through your nose while visualizing drawing in pure harmonic energy, counting 6. Hold this resonance at each energy center, feeling it attuned to cosmic frequencies, counting 3. Exhale through slightly parted lips, creating a subtle tone that aligns with universal music, counting 9. Begin with 9 cycles at dawn or dusk, gradually increasing to 49. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes a note in the cosmic symphony. The shallow breather forever plays only surface melodies, while the deep breather channels the very essence of music itself, becoming one with the eternal song of existence. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. Building with Breath. In the sacred valley of ancient Indraprastha, where temples rose like mountains touching heaven, there lived a master architect named Jennifer Hayes. Though her designs transformed stone into sanctuary, she sensed a deeper foundation remained undiscovered, an invisible architecture that shaped reality itself. One monsoon dawn, while examining the ruins of a legendary temple that had withstood 1,000 years of earthquakes, Jennifer noticed something extraordinary: geometric patterns in the stone that pulsed with living energy. From behind, a weathered pillar emerged, the temple whisperer, known to appear only to builders ready to learn the sacred art of breathing structures into being. "Your plans shape only matter," the temple whisperer observed, touching the ancient stones which began humming with inner light. "But true architecture flows from the breath that builds worlds between breaths." Jennifer unrolled her detailed blueprints. "But I've calculated every angle." "Yet you construct only shells," the figure interrupted, drawing sacred geometries that hung glowing in the air. "Watch how the cosmos itself breathes form into emptiness." Through the storm-dark day, as lightning illuminated impossible architectures in the clouds, the temple whisperer revealed how every breath contains the power to manifest sacred space. "Your body is a living temple," they explained. "Its chambers, waiting to be aligned by the breath that bridges dimensions." The mysterious teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that moved like flowing archways through space. "Inhale as if drawing up the foundation force from Earth's core," they instructed. "Let it build through your being like rising pillars of light. Exhale and feel yourself become the cornerstone of reality." As Jennifer practiced, she felt her structural awareness transforming, as if each breath connected her to the divine architect of existence. The very air around her seemed to crystallize with creative potential. "Remember, the temple whisperer said as they began merging with the ancient stones. The greatest sanctuary rises not from the stones you stack, but from the breath that channels cosmic architecture through your being. Practice the builder's foundation. Sit in cornerstone pose, spine aligned like a sacred pillar. Inhale deeply while visualizing drawing up Earth's foundational energy, counting 4. Hold this power at your core, feeling it form perfect geometric patterns, counting 7. Exhale slowly, imagining this force building inner temples of light, counting 8. Begin with 7 cycles at dawn or dusk, gradually increasing to 49. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred architecture. The shallow breather forever builds only physical structures, while the deep breather channels the very essence of divine creation, becoming one with the eternal temple of consciousness itself. Chapter 15, The Breath Star. In the treacherous waters of ancient Phoenicia, where storm-racked waves tested the bravest sailors, there lived a sea captain named Daniel Reed. Though his navigational skills were renowned, he sensed a deeper guidance system existed, one that could steer souls through both physical and spiritual storms. During a violent tempest that erased all stars from view, Daniel's ship was drawn to a mysterious lighthouse whose beams seemed to pierce not just darkness, but reality itself. Climbing the twisted steps, he encountered the legendary Night Navigator, known to appear only to those ready to learn the sacred art of breathing their way through any storm. "Your compass points only to magnetic north," the Night Navigator observed, drawing glowing star patterns in the air. "But true direction flows from the breath that steers existence itself." Daniel held up his prized astrolabe. "But I've mastered celestial." "Yet you navigate only surface waters," the figure interrupted, creating swirling patterns of luminous mist. "Watch how the universe itself breathes ships to safety." Through the howling night, as impossible constellations danced through storm clouds, the Night Navigator revealed how every breath contains the power to chart unmapped realms. "Your body is a living lighthouse," they explained. It's inner flame, waiting to be kindled by the breath that bridges worlds." The mysterious teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that spiraled like stellar waves through space. "Inhale, as if drawing in pure starlight," they instructed. "Let it pool in your heart, like a compass rose of light. Exhale, and become the North Star itself." As Daniel practiced, he felt his navigational awareness expanding vastly, as if each breath connected him to an infinite web of celestial guidance. The very air around him seemed to crystallize with directional force. "Remember," the Night Navigator said as they began dissolving into cosmic mist, "the surest bearing flows not from the stars you track, but from the breath that channels divine guidance through your being." Practice the navigator's alignment. Sit facing magnetic north. Inhale deeply while visualizing drawing in pure stellar energy, counting 5. Hold this cosmic force at your heart center, feeling it align like a living compass, counting 3. Exhale slowly, imagining this power radiating outward as guidance waves, counting 7. Begin with 12 cycles at dawn or dusk, gradually increasing to 36. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of divine navigation. The shallow breather forever sails by surface signs alone, while the deep breather channels the very essence of guidance itself, becoming one with the eternal star of consciousness. Chapter 16. Threads of Energy. In the misty valleys of ancient Kashmir, where threads of destiny were spun into sacred cloth, there lived a skilled weaver named Ashley Morgan. Though her tapestries captured the eye's delight, she sensed a deeper pattern remained unseen, an eternal weaving that bound reality itself together. One fog-wrapped dawn, while working at her loom, Ashley noticed golden threads appearing between her ordinary silk strands, weaving themselves into impossible designs. Following these luminous fibers led her to the pattern keeper, known to appear only to weavers ready to learn the sacred art of breathing worlds into being. "Your shuttle moves only through physical threads," the pattern keeper observed, drawing forth shimmering strands of pure light. "But true weaving flows through the breath that binds existence into form." Ashley held up her finest silk. "But I've mastered every weaving." "Yet you create only surface patterns," the figure interrupted, revealing a cosmic loom where reality itself was being woven. "Watch how the universe threads breath into being." Through the pearlescent morning, as living patterns danced through the mist, the pattern keeper revealed how every breath contains the power to weave scattered forces into harmony. "Your body is a sacred loom," they explained. "Its energy centers waiting to be connected by the breath that bridges dimensions." The luminous teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that moved like flowing tapestries through space. "Inhale, as if drawing in threads of pure potential," they instructed. "Let them weave through your being like strands of living light. Exhale and become the pattern that binds all things." As Ashley practiced, she felt her awareness expanding into an infinite web, as if each breath connected her to the cosmic loom of creation. The very air around her seemed to shimmer with interconnected possibilities. "Remember," the pattern keeper said as they began unraveling into threads of light, "the greatest tapestry flows not from the fibers you weave, but from the breath that channels universal patterns through your being." Practice the weaver's integration. Sit in lotus pose, spine straight like a loom's beam. Inhale while visualizing drawing in pure golden threads of force, counting 7. Hold this energy, feeling it weave through your centers in sacred patterns, counting 4. Exhale slowly, imagining these threads binding your being into cosmic harmony, counting 8. Begin with 7 cycles at dawn or dusk, gradually increasing to 28. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred weaving. The shallow breather forever creates only physical patterns, while the deep breather channels the very essence of creation, becoming one with the eternal tapestry of consciousness itself. Chapter 17. Molding the Self. In the mist-veiled mountains of ancient Yixian, where earth yielded its secrets to skilled hands, there lived a master potter named Michael Chen. Though his vessels were praised throughout the land, he sensed a deeper transformation remained undiscovered, a sacred molding that shaped not just clay, but consciousness itself. One moonlit night, as Michael worked his wheel beneath flowering plum trees, he noticed his finest clay beginning to pulse with inner radiance. From the shadows emerged the vessel keeper, known to appear only to craftsmen ready to learn the sacred art of breathing form and formlessness. "Your hand's shape only matters," the vessel keeper observed, touching a pot which began glowing from within. "But true pottery flows from the breath that molds emptiness into being." Michael gestured to his prized creations. "But I've mastered every clay." "Yet you form only shells," the figure interrupted, drawing forth shimmering clay that danced like liquid light. Watch how the cosmos itself breathes essence into form. Through the luminous night, as moonlight transformed simple clay into living potential, the vessel keeper revealed how every breath contains the power to reshape reality. Your body is a sacred vessel, they explained, its chambers waiting to be formed by the breath that bridges dimensions. The mysterious teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that spiraled like a perfect pot taking shape in space. Inhale as if drawing in pure possibility, they instructed. Let it center in your being like clay on the wheel. Exhale and feel yourself become the master potter of existence. As Michael practiced, he felt his awareness becoming perfectly centered, as if each breath connected him to the divine potter of creation. The very air around him seemed to spin with transformative power. Remember, the vessel keeper said as they began dissolving like clay returning to earth, the greatest vessel forms not from the clay you shape, but from the breath that channels infinite potential through your being. Practice the potter's centering as sit in wheel pose, spine aligned like a vessel's axis. Inhale deeply while visualizing drawing in pure creative force, counting 5. Hold this power at your center, feeling it spin like clay, finding perfect form, counting 4. Exhale slowly, imagining this energy molding your being into divine shape, counting 6. Begin with 9 cycles at midnight or dawn, gradually increasing to 27. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred creation. The shallow breather forever shapes only physical forms, while the deep breather channels the very essence of transformation, becoming one with the eternal potter of consciousness itself. Chapter 18, The Flower of Power. In the sacred valley of ancient Shangri-La, where rare blooms held secrets of enlightenment, there lived a gifted gardener named Rachel Foster. Though her gardens flourished with unprecedented vitality, she sensed a deeper flowering remained dormant, one that could nurture not just plants, but the very seeds of human potential. During the season of awakening blossoms, Rachel discovered an unusual lotus emerging from her meditation pool, its petals shimmering with otherworldly wisdom. Following its ethereal fragrance led her to the garden sage, known to appear only to those ready to learn the sacred art of breathing life force into full bloom. Your hands nurture only outer growth, the garden sage observed, touching a closed bud that instantly unfurled into impossible radiance. But true gardening flows from the breath that awakens the eternal flower within. Rachel held forth her prized blue lotus. But I've mastered every growing. Yet you cultivate only surface beauty, the figure interrupted, revealing a garden where consciousness itself bloomed into being. Watch how the universe breathes potential into manifestation. Through the mystical dawn, as living light danced through dewdrops, the garden sage revealed how every breath contains the power to unfold dormant possibilities. Your body is a sacred garden, they explained. Its energy centers waiting to blossom through the breath that bridges dimensions. The luminous teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that spiraled like unfurling petals through space. Inhale, as if drawing in pure life force, they instructed. Let it pool in your being like morning dew. Exhale and become the eternal spring itself. As Rachel practiced, she felt her awareness blossoming vastly, as if each breath connected her to an infinite garden of becoming. The very air around her seemed to pulse with generative power. Remember, the garden sage said as they began dissolving like morning mist, The greatest flowering flows not from the seeds you plant, but from the breath that channels divine nature through your being. Practice the gardener's unfolding. Sit in lotus pose among living plants. Inhale deeply while visualizing, drawing in pure life energy, counting 6. Hold this force at your center, feeling it pool like nourishing dew, counting 3. Exhale slowly, imagining this power flowing outward as growth energy, counting 8. Begin with 10 cycles at sunrise or sunset, gradually increasing to 30. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred cultivation. The shallow breather forever tends only physical gardens, while the deep breather channels the very essence of growth itself, becoming one with the eternal gardener of consciousness. Chapter 19, Running on Air. In the windswept highlands of ancient Tibet, where mountain paths twisted between earth and sky, there lived a legendary messenger named Timothy Brooks. Though his speed in delivering sacred scrolls was unmatched, he sensed a deeper swiftness remained undiscovered, one that transcended mere physical movement. During a perilous delivery through storm-racked peaks, Timothy encountered a peculiar phenomenon, his own footprints appearing ahead of him on the path. Following these impossible tracks led him to the Windwalker, known to appear only to those ready to learn the sacred art of becoming one with motion itself. "Your legs carry only your body," the Windwalker observed, moving so swiftly they seemed to exist in multiple places at once. But true speed flows from the breath that transforms being into pure movement. Timothy gestured to his prized running sandals. "But I've mastered every terrain." "Yet you travel only through space," the figure interrupted, demonstrating how they could step between moments themselves. "Watch how the cosmos breathes stillness into lightning." Through the thunderous night, as living wind danced between mountain peaks, the Windwalker revealed how every breath contains the power to transcend physical limitations. "Your body is a sacred vessel of movement," they explained, its energy waiting to be transformed by the breath that bridges dimensions. The ethereal teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that flowed like liquid lightning through space. "Inhale, as if drawing in pure velocity," they instructed. "Let it surge through your being like celestial current. Exhale, and become movement itself." As Timothy practiced, he felt his awareness expanding beyond physical form, as if each breath connected him to the eternal dance of cosmic motion. The very air around him seemed to pulse with infinite possibility. "Remember," the Windwalker said as they began dispersing like morning mist, "the greatest speed flows not from the distance you travel, but from the breath that channels universal movement through your being." Practice the Mercury breath. Stand in a mountain pose, aligned like an arrow of light. Inhale swiftly while visualizing, drawing in pure cosmic velocity, counting 3. Hold this power at your core, feeling it transform into living lightning, counting 2. Exhale in a controlled stream, becoming one with the eternal flow of movement, counting 4. Begin with 12 cycles at dawn or dusk, gradually increasing to 36. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred motion. The shallow breather forever remains bound by physical speed, while the deep breather channels the very essence of movement, becoming one with the eternal dance of consciousness itself. Chapter 20, The Breath Lesson. In the hidden valleys of ancient Nalanda, where knowledge flowed like sacred rivers between master and student, there lived a humble teacher named Kimberly Porter. Though her lessons transformed countless minds, she sensed a deeper transmission remained unexplored, one that could bridge the eternal gap between knowing and becoming. During the season of falling leaves, as she taught beneath an ancient Bodhi tree, Kimberly noticed her students' shadows, casting impossible patterns of light. From these illuminated forms emerged the Keeper of Wisdom, known to appear only to teachers ready to learn the sacred art of breathing truth directly into being. "Your words share only concepts," the Keeper observed, touching a student's forehead, which began radiating pure understanding. "But true teaching flows from the breath that transforms knowledge into living wisdom." Kimberly gestured to her cherished scrolls. "But I've mastered every method." "Yet you transmit only information," the figure interrupted, revealing how breath itself could carry direct knowledge between souls. "Watch how the universe teaches through the language of life force." Through the luminous afternoon, as golden light filtered through ancient leaves, the Keeper revealed how every breath contains the power to awaken dormant understanding. "Your body is a sacred scroll," they explained, "its wisdom waiting to unfold through the breath that bridges all minds." The radiant teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that spiraled like falling leaves of knowledge through space. "Inhale, as if drawing in pure understanding," they instructed. "Let it crystallize in your being like morning frost. Exhale, and become the eternal teaching itself." As Kimberly practiced, she felt her awareness expanding beyond individual knowledge, as if each breath connected her to an infinite library of universal wisdom. The very air around her seemed to pulse with awakening insight. "Remember," the Keeper said as they began dissolving like ink into parchment, "the greatest teaching flows not from the lessons you speak, but from the breath that channels divine understanding through your being." Practice the teacher's transmission. Sit in a wisdom pose beneath the open sky. Inhale deeply while visualizing drawing in pure understanding, counting 7. Hold this wisdom at your heart center, feeling it transform into living truth, counting 3. Exhale slowly, allowing this knowledge to flow outward as teaching light, counting 5. Begin with 7 cycles at sunrise or sunset, gradually increasing to 21. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred transmission. The shallow breather forever teaches only facts and figures, while the deep breather channels the very essence of understanding, becoming one with the eternal teacher of consciousness itself. Part 3, the eternal breath. Chapter 21, the scales of breath. In the hallowed courts of ancient Alexandria, where truth and falsehood hung eternally in balance, there lived a revered judge named Jeremy Collins. Though his judgments were respected throughout the realm, he sensed a deeper justice remained unrealized, one that could harmonize the very forces of existence itself. During the season of weighing souls, when the celestial scales aligned with earthly courts, Jeremy discovered his ceremonial balance scales, moving without touch, their golden arms dancing to an unseen rhythm. Following their hypnotic motion led him to the Keeper of Balance, known to appear only to those ready to learn the sacred art of breathing pure justice into being. "Your verdicts weigh only outer evidence," the Keeper observed, touching the scales, which transformed into shimmering light. "But true justice flows from the breath that balances all opposing forces within." Jeremy held forth his jeweled gavel. "But I've mastered every law." "Yet you judge only appearances," the figure interrupted, revealing how breath itself could restore harmony to chaos. Watch how the universe maintains eternal equilibrium through sacred respiration. Through the midnight court session, as starlight filtered through alabaster columns, the keeper revealed how every breath contains the power to balance all dualities. Your body is a sacred court, they explained. Its opposing forces waiting to be harmonized through the breath that bridges all divisions. The luminous teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that flowed like liquid equilibrium through space. Inhale through your left nostril, as if drawing in pure mercy, they instructed. Then through your right, as if channeling perfect justice, let them merge in your heart until all separation dissolves. As Jeremy practiced, he felt his awareness expanding beyond binary judgments, as if each breath connected him to the cosmic scale where all opposites find harmony. The very air around him seemed to pulse with perfect balance. Remember, the keeper said as they began transforming into pure equilibrium, the greatest justice flows not from the laws you interpret, but from the breath that channels divine harmony through your being. Practice the scales of harmony. Sit in justice, pose upon squared stones. Begin alternate nostril breathing. Left nostril inhale, counting 4. Hold center, counting 4. Right nostril exhale, counting 4. Then right nostril inhale, counting 4. Hold center, counting 4. Left nostril exhale, counting 4. Visualize each side balancing perfectly like celestial scales. Begin with 9 cycles at dawn or dusk, gradually increasing to 27. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred equilibrium. The shallow breather forever judges only external acts, while the deep breather channels the very essence of cosmic balance, becoming one with the eternal arbiter of consciousness itself. Chapter 22. Breathing New Life. In the hidden valleys of ancient Damascus, where the secrets of creation whispered through copper-lined workshops, there lived a remarkable inventor named Christina Lopez. Though her mechanical marvels amazed all who witnessed them, she sensed a deeper wellspring of innovation remained untapped, one that transcended mere physical invention. During the season of quicksilver moons, as she worked late into the night perfecting a mysterious water clock, Christina noticed her reflection in the polished metal, showing impossible devices emerging from her breath. These shimmering visions led her to the architect of dreams, known to appear only to those ready to learn the sacred art of breathing new realities into existence. Your hands craft only what already exists, the architect observed, touching a simple gear which blossomed into an impossibly intricate mechanism. But true innovation flows from the breath that shapes raw possibility itself. Christina gestured to her workshop of wonders. But I've mastered every technique. Yet you create only variations, the figure interrupted, demonstrating how breath could crystallize pure potential into form. Watch how the universe invents through the respiration of infinite possibility. Through the alchemical night, as moonlight transformed base metals into inspiration, the architect revealed how every breath contains the power to manifest undreamed wonders. Your mind is a sacred forge, they explained, its limitless potential waiting to be shaped by the breath that bridges imagination and reality. The ethereal teacher demonstrated a breathing pattern that spiraled like golden ratios through space. Inhale as if drawing in pure possibility, they instructed. Let it dance in your being like quicksilver dreams. Exhale and become an invention itself. As Christina practiced, she felt her awareness expanding beyond known patterns, as if each breath connected her to the infinite matrix of creation. The very air around her seemed to pulse with unrealized marvels. "Remember," the architect said as they began dissolving into pure potential, "the greatest inventions flow not from the tools you master, but from the breath that channels universal creativity through your being." Practice the creator's respiration. Sit in an inventor's pose before your workbench. Inhale deeply while visualizing drawing in pure possibility, counting 5. Hold this potential at your third eye, feeling it transform into living innovation, counting 3. Exhale slowly, allowing new forms to crystallize from formless inspiration, counting 7. Begin with 10 cycles at midnight or dawn, gradually increasing to 30. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred creation. The shallow breather forever crafts only what is known, while the deep breather channels the very essence of innovation, becoming one with the eternal inventor of consciousness itself. Chapter 23, The Ambassador's Heir. In the borderlands of ancient Persepolis, where empires met in tenuous peace, there lived a renowned diplomat named Aaron Mitchell. Though his words could soothe the most violent disputes, he sensed a deeper harmony remained undiscovered, one that could unite even the most divided souls. During the season of shifting winds, as he mediated between warring desert tribes, Aaron noticed the sand between opposing sides forming impossible patterns of unity. These harmonious designs led him to the Weaver of Peace, known to appear only to those ready to learn the sacred art of breathing discord into harmony. "Your treaties bind only surface tensions," the Weaver observed, touching the ground where feuding leaders sat, causing their shadows to merge into one. "But true peace flows from the breath that dissolves the very seeds of conflict." Aaron held up his official scrolls. "But I've mastered every protocol." "Yet you negotiate only positions," the figure interrupted, revealing how breath itself could transform antagonism into alliance. "Watch how the universe maintains harmony through the respiration of understanding." Through the diplomatic night, as starlight bridged heaven and earth, the Weaver revealed how every breath contains the power to unite all divisions. "Your heart is a sacred council chamber," they explained, "its wisdom waiting to flow through the breath that bridges all separation." The luminous teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that moved like silk between swords. "Inhale the essence of those who oppose," they instructed. "Hold their truth within your heart until you feel their deeper yearning. Exhale, understanding that transforms enemies into allies." As Aaron practiced, he felt his awareness expanding beyond polarized positions, as if each breath connected him to the unified field where all conflicts dissolve. The very air around him seemed to pulse with reconciliation. "Remember," the Weaver said as they began transforming into pure harmony, "the greatest peace flows not from the agreements you craft, but from the breath that channels divine unity through your being." Practice the peacemaker's breath. Sit in the diplomat's pose between opposing stones. Inhale deeply while absorbing the essence of conflict, counting 4. Hold this tension at your heart center, feeling it transform into understanding, counting 7. Exhale slowly, releasing waves of harmony, counting 8. Begin with 12 cycles at twilight or dawn, gradually increasing to 33. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred peacemaking. The shallow breather forever negotiates only compromises, while the deep breather channels the very essence of harmony, becoming one with the eternal diplomat of consciousness itself. Chapter 24. Mapping Inner Worlds. In the misty valleys of ancient Tibet, where sacred mountains pierce the veil between worlds, there lived an intrepid explorer named Brittany Clark. Though her maps had charted the most remote corners of the known world, she sensed greater territories remained undiscovered, realms that no physical compass could guide her to find. During the season of shifting realities, when the boundaries between inner and outer worlds grew thin, Brittany noticed her carefully drawn maps transforming beneath her gaze, revealing impossible landscapes that existed somewhere between thought and form. These mysterious cartographies led her to the keeper of inner realms, known to appear only to those ready to learn the sacred art of breathing new dimensions into being. "Your maps chart only the surface of existence," the keeper observed, touching Brittany's scrolls, which shimmered with living geometries. "But true exploration flows from the breath that reveals the infinite territories within." Brittany unrolled her most detailed charts. "But I've mapped every mountain." "Yet you explore only what eyes can see," the figure interrupted, demonstrating how breath itself could open doorways to unmapped dimensions. "Watch how the universe charts its own endless unfolding through sacred respiration." Through the boundary-dissolving night, as constellations drew maps across the heavens, the keeper revealed how every breath contains gateways to inner worlds. "Your consciousness is a sacred atlas," they explained, "and its infinite territories waiting to be discovered through the breath that bridges all dimensions." The luminous teacher demonstrated a breathing pattern that spiraled like living mandalas through space. "Inhale, as if drawing in pure possibility," they instructed. "Let each breath become a compass, pointing to unexplored realms of your own being." As Brittany practiced, she felt her awareness expanding beyond physical geography, as if each breath connected her to vast inner landscapes where mountains of wisdom and rivers of insight flowed eternally. The very air around her seemed to pulse with undiscovered wonders. "Remember," the keeper said as they began dissolving into pure potential, "the greatest discoveries flow not from the lands you chart, but from the breath that reveals the infinite territories of consciousness itself." Practice. The explorer's cartography. Sit in the navigator's pose upon eastern stones. Begin circular breathing. Inhale while visualizing yourself descending into inner realms, counting 5. Hold while mapping the territory you discover, counting 3. Exhale while bringing back wisdom from these depths, counting 7. Practice 13 cycles at dawn or dusk, gradually increasing to 49. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred exploration. The shallow breather forever maps only outer terrains, while the deep breather charts the very essence of consciousness, becoming one with the eternal explorer of infinite inner worlds. Chapter 25. The Breath Behind Words. In the twilight forests of ancient Kashmir, where sacred stories danced between shadow and flame, there lived a renowned storyteller named Brandon Torres. Though his tales could entrance listeners until dawn's first light, he sensed a deeper magic remained untapped, one that could transform mere words into vessels of eternal truth. During the season of whispering winds, as he performed at the Festival of 10,000 Tales, Brandon noticed his spoken words taking visible form in the firelight, shimmering with colors no mortal tongue had named. These living stories led him to the keeper of sacred utterances, known to appear only to those ready to learn the art of breathing truth into being. "Your tales touch only the ears," the keeper observed, speaking words that bloomed like lotus flowers in the air. "But true storytelling flows from the breath that gives life to eternal wisdom." Brandon gestured to his gathered listeners. "But I've mastered every technique." "Yet you tell only stories," the figure interrupted, demonstrating how breath could weave reality from pure sound. "Watch how the universe tells its own tale through the respiration of truth." Through the story-soaked night, as ancient chronicles whispered through rustling leaves, the keeper revealed how every breath contains the power to speak worlds into existence. "Your voice is a sacred instrument, Round," they explained. "Its infinite stories waiting to be sung through the breath that bridges all understanding." The luminous teacher demonstrated a breathing pattern that spiraled like living syllables through space. "Inhale, as if drawing in the essence of truth itself," they instructed. "Let it dance in your being like starlight. Exhale and become the story you tell." As Brandon practiced, he felt his awareness expanding beyond mere words, as if each breath connected him to the eternal narrative flowing through all creation. The very air around him seemed to pulse with unspoken wisdom. "Remember," the keeper said as they began dissolving into pure sound, "the greatest stories flow not from the words you speak, but from the breath that channels universal truth through your voice." Practice the storyteller's respiration. Sit in the narrator's pose before eastern flames. Inhale deeply while visualizing drawing in pure truth, counting 4. Hold this wisdom at your throat chakra, feeling it transform into a living story, counting 7. Exhale slowly, allowing sacred words to emerge from silence, counting 8. Begin with 9 cycles at sunrise or sunset, gradually increasing to 27. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred storytelling. The shallow breather forever speaks only words, while the deep breather channels the very essence of truth, becoming one with the eternal story of consciousness itself. Chapter 26, The Crown of Breath. In the hidden valleys of ancient Bhutan, where prayer flags wove wisdom through mountain mists, there lived a young village leader named Samantha Rivera. Though her people prospered under her guidance, she sensed a deeper authority remained untapped, one that flowed not from position but from the very essence of being itself. During the season of falling stars, as she meditated beneath the sacred Bodhi tree, Samantha noticed how the leaves above her head formed an ever-shifting crown of light. These luminous patterns led her to the guardian of inner sovereignty, known to appear only to those ready to learn the sacred art of breathing true authority into being. "Your leadership touches only the surface," the guardian observed, causing golden light to spiral around Samantha's head like an ethereal coronation. "But true authority flows from the breath that awakens the sovereign within." Samantha touched her ceremonial necklace. "But my people already follow." "Yet you lead only their actions," the figure interrupted, revealing how breath itself could awaken natural authority. "Watch how the universe governs through the respiration of pure presence." Through the sovereign night, as celestial courts danced overhead, the guardian revealed how every breath contains the power to crown consciousness with divine authority. Your heart is a sacred throne room, they explained. It's wisdom waiting to flow through the breath that bridges all separation between ruler and ruled. The luminous teacher demonstrated a breathing technique that moved like royal nectar through the subtle channels. Inhale, as if drawing in the very essence of divine authority, they instructed. Let it settle in your heart like molten gold. Exhale sovereignty that transforms subjects into fellow sovereigns. As Samantha practiced, she felt her awareness expanding beyond hierarchical power, as if each breath connected her to the natural authority that flows through all creation. The very air around her seemed to pulse with regal presence. Remember, the guardian said, as they began transforming into pure radiance. True leadership flows not from the position you hold, but from the breath that channels divine sovereignty through your being. Practice the sovereign's breath. Sit in royal pose upon eastern stones. Begin breath of authority. Inhale deeply while visualizing drawing in pure sovereignty, counting 5. Hold while feeling it crown your being, counting 7. Exhale while extending this divine authority to all directions, counting 8. Practice 21 cycles at sunrise or sunset, gradually increasing to 108. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred leadership. The shallow breather forever leads only through position, while the deep breather channels the very essence of authority, becoming one with the eternal sovereign of consciousness itself. Chapter 27. The Champion's Secret. In the sacred valleys of ancient Greece, where olive groves whispered tales of immortal games, there lived a renowned athlete named Justin Park. Though his physical prowess had earned him countless laurel wreaths, he sensed a deeper victory remained unclaimed, one that transcended mere bodily triumph. During the season of the great games, as dust clouds swirled in the practice fields, Justin noticed how the most graceful athletes seemed to move as if carried by invisible winds. These ethereal patterns led him to the guardian of inner victory, known to appear only to those ready to learn the sacred art of breathing triumph into being. Your victories touch only the flesh, the guardian observed, moving with such fluid grace that space itself seemed to bow. But true mastery flows from the breath that makes victory inevitable in all realms. Justin held up his collection of wreaths. But I've never lost a... Yet you compete only against others, the figure interrupted, demonstrating how breath itself could transcend the very concept of competition. Watch how the universe achieves perfect victory through the respiration of pure potential. Through the victorious night, as champion constellations raced across heaven's arena, the guardian revealed how every breath contains the power to transform struggle into divine play. Your body is a sacred vessel, they explained, its ultimate triumph waiting to emerge through the breath that bridges all opposition. The luminous teacher demonstrated a breathing pattern that moved like liquid lightning through the muscles. Inhale, as if drawing in the very essence of victory, they instructed. Let it pulse through your being like divine nectar. Exhale, and become triumph itself. As Justin practiced, he felt his awareness expanding beyond physical competition, as if each breath connected him to the effortless victory that flows through all creation. The very air around him seemed to pulse with unstoppable power. Remember, the guardian said as they began dissolving into pure achievement, true victory flows not from the contests you win, but from the breath that reveals your own divine nature. Practice the champion's breathing. Sit in victor's pose facing the rising sun. Begin the breath of inevitable triumph. Inhale deeply while visualizing drawing in pure victory, counting 3. Hold while feeling it transform your being, counting 4. Exhale while extending this power through all actions, counting 5. Practice 12 cycles at dawn or dusk, gradually increasing to 44. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred victory. The shallow breather forever competes against others, while the deep breather channels the very essence of triumph, becoming one with the eternal champion of consciousness itself. Chapter 28, The Breath of Wisdom. In the mist-shrouded mountains of ancient Tibet, where sacred scrolls held secrets older than time, there lived a philosopher named Amber Russell. Though her mind could unravel the most complex riddles of existence, she sensed a deeper understanding remained hidden, one that transcended mere intellectual knowing. During the season of falling snow, as she contemplated the nature of reality in her mountain cave, Amber noticed how her thoughts began taking physical form in the crystalline air, each snowflake a perfect mandala of frozen wisdom. These living symbols led her to the keeper of eternal truth, known to appear only to those ready to learn the art of breathing pure understanding into being. "Your wisdom touches only the mind," the keeper observed, their words forming intricate ice patterns in the air. "But true knowledge flows from the breath that dissolves all illusion." Amber gestured to her carefully arranged scrolls. "But I've mastered every school of—" "Yet you know only concepts," the figure interrupted, demonstrating how breath itself could reveal direct experience of reality. "Watch how the universe knows itself through the respiration of pure awareness." Through the wisdom-filled night, as cosmic understanding danced in aurora lights above, the keeper revealed how every breath contains the power to unlock immediate knowledge beyond thought. "Your mind is a sacred mirror," they explained. It's infinite reflection waiting to be revealed through the breath that bridges all separation between knower and known. The luminous teacher demonstrated a breathing pattern that spiraled like living koans through space. "Inhale as if drawing in the very essence of reality," they instructed. "Let it dissolve all concepts in your being. Exhale and become the truth itself." As Amber practiced, she felt her awareness expanding beyond intellectual understanding, as if each breath connected her to the direct knowing that flows through all creation. The very air around her seemed to pulse with living wisdom. "Remember," the keeper said as they began transforming into pure understanding, "true wisdom flows not from the thoughts you think, but from the breath that reveals reality's eternal nature." Practice the philosopher's respiration. Sit in contemplative pose facing northern stars. Begin wisdom breath. Inhale deeply while visualizing drawing in pure understanding, counting 6. Hold while feeling it dissolve all concepts, counting 8. Exhale while becoming one with truth itself, counting 10. Practice 16 cycles at midnight or dawn, gradually increasing to 64. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of direct knowing. The shallow breather forever thinks about truth, while the deep breather becomes one with wisdom itself, breathing the eternal understanding that transcends all thought. Chapter 29, Transmuting Through Breath. In the hidden valleys of ancient Damascus, where sacred furnaces burned with otherworldly flames, there lived an alchemist named Sean Murphy. though his laboratory could transform base metals into precious materials. He sensed a deeper transmutation remained undiscovered, one that could transform the very essence of being itself. During the season of Mercury's ascension, as he studied the dance of metallic vapors in his sanctum, Sean noticed how certain fumes formed spiraling patterns that mirrored the sacred geometries of life. These ethereal configurations led him to the keeper of universal transmutation, known to appear only to those ready to learn the sacred art of breathing transformation into being. "Your alchemy touches only matter," the keeper observed, "their form shifting between solid, liquid, and gaseous states. But true transmutation flows from the breath that transforms consciousness itself." Sean held up a recently crafted gold ingot. But I've mastered the conversion of—" "Yet you transform only elements," the figure interrupted, demonstrating how breath itself could transmute the very fabric of reality. "Watch how the universe continuously transforms through the respiration of pure possibility." Through the transformative night, as celestial metals merged and separated overhead, the keeper revealed how every breath contains the power to transmute ordinary awareness into divine realization. "Your body is a sacred Athanor," they explained, "its ultimate transformation waiting to emerge through the breath that bridges all states of being." The luminous teacher demonstrated a breathing pattern that moved like quicksilver through reality's layers. "Inhale as if drawing in the prima materia of existence," they instructed. "Let it calcinate your limitations to ash. Exhale and become the philosopher's stone itself." As Sean practiced, he felt his awareness transmuting beyond physical form, as if each breath transformed him through successive levels of refinement. The very air around him seemed to pulse with alchemical power. "Remember," the keeper said as they began sublimating into pure light, "true transformation flows not from the metals you transmute, but from the breath that reveals your own golden nature. Practice the alchemist's breathing. Sit in a laboratory pose facing Western mysteries. Begin transmutation breath. Inhale deeply while visualizing drawing in pure potential, counting 9. Hold while feeling it transform your essence, counting 11. Exhale while becoming perfect refinement, counting 13. Practice 9 cycles at midnight or noon, gradually increasing to 81. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of sacred transformation. The shallow breather forever transmutes external substances, while the deep breather becomes one with the eternal process of transformation itself, breathing the very essence of divine alchemy. Chapter 30, The Circle Complete. In the highest chamber of Mount Kailash's hidden temple, where ancient wisdom echoes in eternal silence, Master Brandon Sullivan emerged from 30 years of sacred solitude. Though he had taught countless seekers the preliminary secrets of breath mastery, he knew the time had come to reveal the final teaching, one that would complete the great circle of awakening. During the season of celestial alignment, as cosmic energies surged through the temple's crystalline walls, those who had mastered the previous teachings gathered in reverent anticipation. They watched in awe as Master Sullivan demonstrated a state of being that seemed to transcend the very boundaries of existence. "Your practices have prepared the vessel," he observed, his form seeming to pulse with limitless light. "But the ultimate awakening flows from the breath that unites all practices into one continuous unfoldment." The gathered masters began sharing their accomplishments. But Brandon raised his hand with infinite gentleness. Each achievement is but a fragment of the whole, he explained, demonstrating how breath itself could weave all practices into a seamless tapestry of awakening. Watch how the universe maintains perfect unity through the respiration of pure consciousness. Through the transcendent night, as reality itself seemed to breathe with divine awareness, Master Sullivan revealed how every practice contains the seed of complete awakening. Your entire being is a sacred mandala, he shared, its perfect wholeness waiting to emerge through the breath that bridges all apparent separation. The illumined teacher demonstrated a breathing pattern that moved like living light through all dimensions. Inhale as if drawing in the essence of every practice, he instructed. Let it unite all teachings in your being. Exhale and become awakening itself. As the assembly practiced, they felt their awareness expanding beyond all previous limitations, as if each breath connected them to the eternal dance of consciousness, becoming conscious of itself. The very air around them seemed to pulse with infinite potential. Remember, Master Sullivan said as his form began radiating pure enlightenment, true mastery flows not from the practices you perfect, but from the breath that reveals your own eternal nature. Practice the Master's breathing. Sit in the ultimate pose facing infinite space. Begin unification breath. Inhale deeply while visualizing drawing in all practices, counting 12. Hold while feeling them unite in your being, counting 15. Exhale while becoming pure, awakening, counting 18. Practice 108 cycles at any sacred hour, gradually discovering timelessness itself. For those who master this practice, every breath becomes an act of complete awakening. The shallow breather forever chases techniques, while the deep breather becomes one with the eternal process of consciousness awakening to itself, breathing the very essence of infinite unfoldment. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. In the most sacred chamber of Mount Kailash's hidden temple, where the very walls seemed to pulse with accumulated wisdom, Master Brandon Sullivan gathered all who had walked the path of breath mastery. The air itself felt charged with 30 years of transformative practice, each molecule dancing with the collected power of countless awakened breaths. You have learned the individual secrets, he began, his voice resonating like temple bells. But now we must understand how these breaths weave together into the tapestry of unstoppable living. As dawn's first rays penetrated the ancient crystal dome above, Master Sullivan demonstrated how each sacred breath pattern flowed naturally into the next, like tributaries joining a mighty river. The assembled seekers watched in wonder as his energy body shifted through all 33 classical forms of breath mastery in perfect harmony. The shallow breather sees these as separate techniques, he explained, his aura now radiating golden light. But the master knows there is only one eternal breath, expressing itself through infinite variations. Through the luminous morning, as incense spiraled in sacred geometries through the chamber, Master Sullivan revealed how daily life itself becomes a continuous breath practice. Watch how making tea can be the warrior's breath, he demonstrated, his movements flowing like liquid light. How walking to market contains the merchant's breath, how greeting a friend embodies the healer's breath. The assembly gasped as ordinary actions transformed into expressions of infinite power before their eyes. Your entire life is practice, he shared, while demonstrating how to maintain awakened breath through every activity. Each moment is another facet of the eternal breath revealing itself. Practice the eternal flow. Begin at first light. As you wake, practice the seeker's breath. 7 counts in, hold 11, release 9. While washing, flow into the purifier's breath. 9 in, hold 7, release 11. During the morning meal, transform into the alchemist's breath. 11 in, hold 9, release 7. Continue flowing naturally between all learned breaths throughout your day, letting each activity call forth its perfect pattern. End each night with the master's breath. Count 12, 15, 18 to integrate all practices into one continuous stream. For those who master this practice, every moment becomes an expression of unstoppable power. The shallow breather forever separates spiritual practice from daily life, while the deep breather discovers that life itself is the ultimate breath practice, an eternal dance of consciousness breathing through all forms and activities. Remember, Master Sullivan said as the gathering drew to a close, his form seeming to merge with the temple's ancient light, you are not learning to breathe. You are remembering that you are the breath of the universe itself, eternally expressing through this perfect human form. As the seekers departed into the dawn, they carried with them not just techniques, but the living wisdom of the eternal breath, the ultimate secret that transforms ordinary existence into an unstoppable flow of awakened beings. If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.